Hello, it's Mr. Cerisa, and today we'll do the analysis of an ellipse in an equation that's not general form. So what I mean by that is like this one where I have 4x squared plus 3y squared plus 8x minus 6y minus 5 equals, and that equals 0. And so that's not the usual x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared format. This one you actually have to convert to that format. So what we have to do is complete the square twice, and it's a little different than how you've done it in the past, a little more complex. So first let's group those x's together, and then I'll group the y's together, and I'll put the constant on the other side. So I had to add 5 to both sides in order to do that. And then with the x's, I factor out whatever is the coefficient for the x squared term. So I'm going to factor out a 4. And that will make x squared plus 2x. And then I'll leave room to complete the square. Same thing with the y's. I see 3 is the leading coefficient, so I'll have y squared factored out, and then leave room for the factoring, and that will equal 5. And now I'll complete the square within the parentheses. So I'm sure you know, add 1 and add 1 here. Just notice I didn't add 1 to the left side. I added 4 times 1. So I have to add 4 to the other side. Same idea here. 3 times 1 I added. So I have to add a 3 to the other side in order to make these balance. Alright, and so let me simplify this, and it starts looking a little more like what we're used to. I'm turning them into the squared terms. And now 5 plus 4 plus 3 is 12. And so we're almost there, but we have the 12 on the right side and we need a 1. So I need to divide by 12 on the left and on everything, everything on the left and on the right. And then let's simplify this, and this will be in the form that I want. So I'll have x plus 1 squared, 4 over 12. We have 3 in the denominator. 3 over 12 will have 4. And that equals 1, like what we wanted to. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through and do the analysis. My major axis, I can see the 4 is under the y, the bigger number's under the y. So my major axis will be parallel to the y-axis. And our center, just like we've done centers before, will be negative 1, 1, because that's going to be x minus a negative 1 here and a y minus 1 there. So I know that I'm going to have negative 1, 1. So I'm going to do this a little different way this time. I'm going to just start with the graphing straight from there. And so just so that you can see everything comes out from the center, I said that earlier. Negative 1, 1 is the center. So that's where I start. And then I'll try to do the vertices, and remember it's parallel to the y-axis, so that will affect how we're setting those up. And so if a squared is 4, of course a is 2, and then b is going to be radical 3, so that'll be tricky. Well, we have to figure that one out and plant it, but we'll just approximate. And our c will be the square root of a squared minus b squared. And so that's pretty easy. 4 minus 3 is 1, so c equals 1. So we have our a, b, and c, and we can just move forward with that. So the vertex will be movement by a from the center. So if a equals 2, and the major axis is the y-axis, then let's go up 2, 1, 2, and down 2, 1, 2. And we'll put those vertices here. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. And then our x-intercepts, if you want to think of it as that, that's basically where it hits for the minor axis. Well, b equals root 3, which is a little bit more than 1. 1.5-ish. And so I'll put those in there. So I'll have a little over 1 in this direction, a little over 1 in this direction. So I'm going to put it about here and here. And right there, that's my graph, is essentially with the x and y intercepts if you want. And then I just need to put in the foci. So the foci uses c. So we know c equals 1 from up above. And so that's also in the up-down direction. And because major axis is the y-axis. So up 1, up 1, and down 1. And there are the foci. So that's the graph. And then you can, if you want, go back and fill in the points. For the vertex, you can see the vertex is -1, and then 3, and -1, -1. And you could also think of that as, okay, the one here, the one here is the starting point. So -1, not write all that in there. So that's the same as 1 plus 2 and 1 minus 2 is going to be those points. And then for the intercepts, we have -1 as our starting point, plus radical 3, 1, and then -1 minus radical 3, 1. So we moved left to right, radical 3. And then finally the foci, we're going to move up down from center by 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is 0. And that's where we get those numbers. And then I did the graph as I went, so I'm all set with that. So there's the analysis of an equation that's not in general form. Thank you. I hope that this helps.